Good morning, everyone. Kevin Henderson, Grayson County Judge Executive. We wanted to visit with you today to give you some updates on what's going on here in Grayson County. We sent out, myself and the Grayson County Health Department sent out a Facebook post yesterday afternoon, probably around 3 o'clock, and updated you on some numbers. And like I've said in the past, these things change by the hour, so they've changed rapidly over the night. I regret to inform you that we've got another positive that we got last night, probably around 8 o'clock. And unfortunately, that resident is a resident of Grayson County, but also a resident of Grayson Manor nursing home. The patient is a 96-year-old male patient. He is in critical condition. He has been transferred from Grayson Manor to Twin Lakes Regional Medical Center at this time because his, like I said, he is in critical condition, so his condition has worsened a little bit. So, folks with family that's in Grayson Manor, I understand. I've had a lot of phone calls this morning already. Grayson Manor is doing everything that they possibly can do to notify the family members. We just sort of wanted to get on top of this quickly, so we sort of kept the rumor mills down. So that's why we went ahead and done this at 11 o'clock today. But Grayson Manor has been notifying family members of residents that are there. Everyone is in good health at this time. This patient had recently been transferred into Grayson Manor, and that person was already under isolation. So it wasn't like that patient was out with the other residents inside Grayson Manor. And because this happened 4 to 5 weeks ago, that our two facilities here, Springview and Grayson Manor, actually implemented that if they had new residents come in, that they would be isolated and monitored on a daily basis for at least the 14 days. So this patient had come in about a week ago maybe, and was being monitored. And so that person didn't have any contact with any of the other residents that was inside Grayson Manor. And also, the staff was wearing their proper PPE whenever they would deal with this patient. And I've talked to the director of the health department, or the director of Grayson Manor, and the director of Springview, and they are both both abiding by those guidelines. So I'd like to introduce Josh Embry from the Grayson County Health Department to update you a little bit more on this, and then I've got the numbers for Grayson County, and then I wanted to let you know some things about Walmart, some complaints that we've had about Walmart. So up next we got Josh Embry, Grayson County Health Department.
All right, thank you, Judge, for that introduction. So, as the Judge was explaining, this is a male patient, 96 years old, and we were not made aware of it until after close of business day at the Health Department yesterday. I was notified by one of my nurses who reached out to me and letting me know that test result had came back positive. That was somewhere along 6 to 7:30ish at night, maybe a smidge later. And then within 15 to 20 minutes, I was called by Grayson Manor, a staff member there, who had been notified, and they had already started the process of reaching out to us and asking what they needed to do to add to their current procedures that they're already doing. As the Judge said, they had been working with this patient using personal protective equipment. And according to CDC guidelines in this virus, if you're wearing PPE and you are properly suited up, then you're not considered a direct contact with that person. So with that being said, those staff members who have worked with this patient and wore appropriate PPE following all CDC guidelines do not require a test at this time. If they become symptomatic, then they need to tell their supervisor, DON, administrator, and see if a test would be needed at that time. But if they were wearing personal protective equipment, then according to the current guidelines, a test is not needed at this time. So I mentioned the call that came to me last night while I was at home. I was made aware immediately that the nurses had left their families and their home life to go back to the Disaster Operations Center at the Health Department. They started the process of initiating the appropriate paperwork and working with the appropriate channels to start to deal with this unfortunate event. We've reached out to the Kentucky Department for Public Health. We did that this morning and made them aware of the situation, and they in turn have reached out to Grayson Manor, and is our understanding that they are going to continue contact throughout this ordeal. Something else the health department did was we actually used some personal protective equipment that's in our supplies that have been pushed out to us from the strategic national stockpile, and we sent those items over to Grayson Manor to help ensure that they have appropriate PPE. One of the most valued items at this time as far as personal protective equipment is concerned is the gowns to wear to prevent the spread of this virus. We were able to send 38 additional gowns to Grayson Manor to help them, because I said this is an item that's short across the state. And we sent 5 boxes of medium-sized gloves, 2 boxes of large gloves, and Jacob, who does our personal protective equipment management, has also reached out to the state, initiated paperwork to get them even more gowns. And it's our understanding that that's just waiting for a signature for approval, and then hopefully that'll be pushed out as soon as possible. So we are collaborating, we are working with the folks at Grayson Manor, and they were already preparing for something like this before it even happened, and their feet hit the ground running last night, and they've been working ever since. So the last thing I will read is an actual letter that was given to me by the nursing and rehab facility that will be going out to families. And I'll just read it word for word. It says, "Dear resident and family, Grayson Nursing and Rehab is concerned for the ongoing welfare, safety, and health of our residents. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, known as CDC, is monitoring the outbreak of a new virus, COVID-19. The people most likely to become severely ill from COVID-19 are elderly adults and those with underlying medical conditions. This letter is to alert you that on April 14th, 2020, we learned that one of our residents developed COVID-19. We are actively monitoring our residents for signs and symptoms of COVID-19 and are working with our local and state health departments. All of our staff members continue to follow CDC recommendations to reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19. These include strict hand washing procedures and, in many circumstances, wearing face masks, gowns, and gloves when interacting with residents who are sick. To minimize the risk of our residents becoming sick with this virus, we are suspending all visits to Grayson Nursing and Rehab. This decision is being made in accordance with recommendations from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, known as CMS. We understand that connecting with family members is important. Other ways to connect include telephone, email, text, or through Skype or Facebook. For the most up-to-date information on this topic, please visit the CDC's website at www.cdc.gov/COVID-19. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Sincerely, Jeff Baxley, Administrator." Any questions?
Josh, we have one on here. Somebody wants to know about painter. Somebody asks, are disposable painter suits available, and are they helpful as far as coverage?
We have had people reach out with PPE in different industries and to donate those. So if someone has access to that and if they meet the CDC guidelines, is Angie back there?
Yes.
I will ask Angie to come up. She is our nurse. Would painter suits be appropriate?
If they were disposable, yes.
Okay, Angie says if they were disposable, yes. Okay, so if someone has those items to donate, you may reach out to, I would say, the nursing home and just let them know.
That or us, and we can take it and push it on out either way.
Okay, or we can at the health department. You can call us 270-259-3141, and we will push those items out personally. Any more questions? Thank you so much.
And while that's fresh on my mind, I'll go ahead and let everybody know I'd actually shared something on my Facebook page that if you have PPE to donate to Grayson County, you can contact the health department, but also all state police posts in the state of Kentucky are accepting donations of PPE for the state of Kentucky. So you can drop those off there if you have anything. Anything's much appreciated, you know, at this time. So right now, Grayson County's in pretty good shape, as Josh had told you. Other than the gowns, we've got a contact now. Talk with Director Tony Whelan with Emergency Management, and we've got a contact to. We've contacted for additional gowns. For the county, but other than that, our gloves and our mask and that we're doing fairly well with. So just wanted to go back to the folks with family that's in Grayson Manor, Springview. Folks, like I said, I know it's easy for me to say, but please don't panic. These folks are doing a phenomenal job keeping the residents safe over there. You know, they was on top of this immediately as soon as these guidelines came out, and have been following these protocols with isolation for 14 days ever since this started. So, you know, we're going to try to keep everybody, you know, as safe as we can. But, you know, a big shout out to those folks, and especially our healthcare workers and our EMS that transports the folks. And everybody, they're on the front lines of this, the nurses and the doctors and stuff. But our numbers for Grayson County, like I said, folks, this is going to change this afternoon because there's a lot of people's getting tested now. A whole lot more tests are being performed. So 155 Grayson County residents have been tested, 155. We've got 21 pending. We've got 6 that are positive now, since we've had our new positive that came in late last night, which we count it for today, 6 positive. 2 have recovered. 128 have been negative. Some other things that I want to go over, we've had a lot of complaints on Facebook, and a lot of people call in about Walmart. And our Walmart associates are getting they're getting abused a little bit, quite honestly. You know, they're trying to follow the guidelines. Walmart's done a whole lot better job, and with trying to eliminate groups of families coming in. I know there's still some that come in. You got to be mindful of there are single parents that don't have anyone to watch their kids, so those kids might have to come in with those parents, and there's other circumstances. But quite honestly, you know, we've talked to some of the associates out there, and I mean they're getting cursed at and everything else. And folks, we got to remember, we're way better than that to do things like that, because we're all in this together. Everybody is suffering right now. Nobody's life is the same way it was 2 months ago. So let's remember that. Them folks are struggling as well. they have to go in knowing that this, this disease could affect them or their family. So, let's not go out. And, we've talked to the Dollar General, some of the associates there. Same things happen there. Folks, we're better than that. Don't do that. Don't go out and get upset because, two of you decided to go in, one's getting a loaf of bread and the other one's getting a gallon of milk. Have one person go in and get it. That's what the guidelines are for. So let's just remember to do that. But I just want to remind everyone also, you need to pray that the Lord heals our country. We need it now more than ever. And just pray for the people that are dealing with this virus, the ones that have tested positive. Pray for the ones that we've lost, and we'll be a whole lot better off. So just remember, we are Grayson County Strong. If something new comes up, we'll definitely probably list something on Facebook tonight or this afternoon if some of these numbers change. If we have any more anything come up with Grayson Manor or any of the retirement homes, we'll definitely let you know. We'll come to you and let you know. But all stay safe, and God bless.